Hey cycling community, this is Steve Grusis, the Cycling Greek. It is just before 5 a.m. I'm about to take off for another long climbing ride. Get ready for my event that takes place in 2 weeks. Today is all about pacing. Okay, let's go enjoy the day. 91 degrees on the floor, pretty darn cool. Let's go do it.
A couple of my teammates on their own ride caught up with me and joined me for the first steps climb portion of my ride. As I mentioned in the intro, the main purpose of this training ride is pacing. Not only is it pacing, but it's also fueling and minimizing of stop time. In prepping for this event in the past, and it's been a few years since I've done this event, I usually dedicated about 3 weekend long rides to pacing. Due to previous commitments, this is the only week that I can really dedicate to pacing. Next weekend is going to be a tapering week, and then the following week is going to be the event. The main purpose of my pacing work is to determine how fast, or rather intense, I can go in order to get the best time possible for this ride. Specifically, so I don't blow up on the climbs in the middle of the ride, nor die out at the end as I'm rolling in. Also included in this pacing work is the minimization of stop time. Basically, when I go to a rest stop, I want to go in, get what I need, get on the bike, and take off again. I want my form to be so good that my main rest will come when I'm descending. A very important component of pacing is fueling. Not only how much do you consume when, but also what sources of calories will work best for me. For the past month on my longer rides, I have been experimenting with different fueling regimens. Because of the effervescence factor, I have dropped fizz. That was working fine for me for the first half of the ride, but things seemed to get backed up on the last half of the ride, and it was slowing me down considerably. I went from 1 tablet to a half a tablet per bottle to a quarter tablet per bottle. Going to a smaller amount would delay the effect, but the effect would still come. Today, I am carrying a lot of powder with me, and it's a 2-to-1 ratio of Hammer Nutrition Sustained Energy to Heed. I'm also carrying Endurolite tablets for my electrolytes. This will replace the fizz tablets I was previously taking. With it being significantly cooler this morning, I started off with about 240 calories per bottle. After a couple hours, I went down to 150 calories per bottle. For those times when I wasn't taking in enough calories and I needed an extra boost, I was carrying a lot of extra Hammer gels with me. This is also a Hammer Nutrition product that gives me some quick energy when I need it. If I find myself not taking enough calories, Hammer gels worked out quite nicely. I also have to be careful not to take in too many calories, especially after a few hours into the ride. What will happen is I'll start to feel miserable, I won't take in enough water, and things will go downhill. Basically, I have to slow down until everything gets processed so I can get going again. That is a time killer and an energy killer too. Now, it must be understood that the pacing and the fueling only works for a certain set of conditions. When it gets significantly hotter, then I gotta slow down. I also have to make sure that I have even less calories per bottle.
Well, I'm here with Kelly Boulam and Mark Roberts. I'm hanging on these guys' wheel at different points on the climb. One time I was chasing Kelly, and now I'm chasing Mark. They're killing me.
I'm not going to pass us.
I don't know. This is Big Creek. I'm not going to pass anybody right there. Okay, and this is my kilo bag right here. It has quite a bit in it. It's a 2-to-1 ratio of sustained energy to heed. Keep me going.
This is why I need 3 weeks of pacing work. Because usually on the first week, like today, I threw pacing out the window, so to speak. Once Kelly and Mark caught up with me, I was doing everything I could just to hang on with them. Even though they don't race, they are much stronger climbers than I am. At first on Big Creek, I was trying to get away from Kelly. Well, that was pretty stupid. He dropped me like a bad habit. Leading up to this climb, I was chasing Mark, and that was a hard endeavor. As I was starting to suffer, Mark caught me at the top of Big Creek.
I just started up Kaiser. My teammates are about 20 minutes ahead now. They're going faster than I thought they were going to go. Considering all the chasing and hanging on I was doing, my legs are feeling somewhat okay. I hope they didn't turn around because of the rain. It's kind of sprinkling up here. I'm going to keep going though. Oh, where's Kino?
The original plan was for us to go all the way to the top of Kaiser, but it was raining. And it wasn't so bad when we were climbing, but when we were descending, it was a lot cooler. So now we are on the Four Sisters of Tamarack. In spite of all the saddle time and climbing I had done thus far, I was still feeling good enough, but that wasn't going to last for too much longer. Once we dropped down toward Shaver, I was starting to die off. They were starting to leave me at the small climbs. I would subsequently connect once we were on the flats or the descents. Once we dropped down into the valley floor, I bid them adieu at their takeoff points, and I rode in another 19 miles on mostly flats to get back home. And I was noticeably slower. I was at about 50%. I was so tired here that I had my finger over the microphone, so I figure I better voice over this part too. Now, the temperature, remember, was 91 for a high, so it was pretty darn cool. The weekend before, I rode in about 104 degrees. This coming weekend, which is my taper ride, still going to be long but not nearly as much climbing, is going to be 90 degrees. Then things will get hot. My event the following week is forecasted to be at 106 degrees. No way I'm going to hit my 10-hour goal then. Remember, comment, like, subscribe. The Cycling Greek.